Hey, welcome to the Good Fight Collective podcast. My name is Jason. This is my great friend, George. We lead a ministry called the Good Fight Collective. We know that many of us operate alone, but we also know that we're stronger together. And our ministry wants to help you fight that good fight of faith. On this podcast today, we're going to talk about something that we all have that maybe we don't always talk about, but it's one of those things that's part of fighting the good fight. It's part of the battle along the way. You're going to get burned by people. Things aren't going to go the way you want. You're going to have some scars, right?
Yeah. We're not just talking about scars like we played ball and you had surgery and you have a scar, right? We're, some of these are deeper and cut deeper.
For sure.
And seemingly last longer and can take over you if you're not careful.
No doubt about it. In fact, I kind of wrote this down as we were thinking about this. I think how you navigate your scars affects the next season of your life. Right. As you realize you have them or you realize that that's there, that's one of those things that becomes a driver for how you view God, how you view others, how you view sometimes the church, sometimes Christian businesses, sometimes your friends or family or whatever. I think how you view those affects the next season of your life, right?
Yeah. And there's always two sides to every story.
Yeah.
So we got to be really clear about that. Sure. And especially when it's a Christian brother that you feel like's offended you or a Christian organization or a business that claims to be run, Christian wise or a church or, there's some scars you can get from there, but usually you hear the perspective from one side.
Correct. And
somewhere, a lot of times the truth's in the middle, but hopefully the truth is biblically based. And that's where you need to go. One quick thought as we jump into this. We all know what a IOU is, right? You ever sign an IOU? Mom, please, if you give me $2, I'll sign an IOU. Mama knows that's not worth anything. But so we all know an IOU. Hey, I owe you money, owe you something, but you owe me list. A you owe me list comes often with scars because you get somebody does something and you go, oh, they owe me. I'm not talking to them again. I'm not talking to them today. I apologize. And you know what? 99 times out of 100, they have no clue. They have no clue that they caused a scar in you. They have no clue what they did. But boy, you're holding a grudge. You've got a big scar. And they're holding you captive and they don't even know it. You're holding yourself captive because you've built this you owe me list. That's something that scar right there can never heal until you lay it down or go talk to them and said, hey, do you even know that you did this? And I found out 9 times out of 10, the other person doesn't even know.
I had a guy once I used to work with at a church, and I had said something about him and I was positive it got back to him. And a couple of weeks later, we were in the hallway before service, and I just was like, hey, dude. And I just been wrecked by it. I just felt really bad because I'd said something that wasn't appropriate. And we're both in our 20s at this point. But I remember walking up to him and I said, hey, man, I just got to be honest with you. I'm so sorry. I said this thing about you. And this guy looked at me straight in the face and goes, what are you talking about?
Exactly.
And I was like, I was ready to have a moment.
Yeah.
And you acted like it's not a thing. Yeah. And that almost made it worse.
But you had a moment because you were being held captive.
Yeah.
And God laid on you to go
100%
talk to that person. And whether this is relevant or not, I don't know. But when I was a school administrator, I'd have parents come in spitting mad. You know what that teacher did? And they'd go to my child. And I said, well, what did Miss Smith say when you talked to Miss Smith? Oh, I can't go talk to Miss Smith. I was like, well, you're developing scars that don't need to be. And they'd go talk to Miss Smith and it was a misunderstanding and it'd be worked out and everything was great. They built up this big old, you owe me, Miss Smith, you're on my child. So I think you have some passage and some biblical reference
I think
on
as
here.
we were talking about this, I know as we were talking about this, we kept coming back to Joseph and just something that we wrote down. Joseph had some of the worst trauma in the Bible. His brothers tried to kill him. They ultimately sold him into slavery. The people who are supposed to love you the most basically got rid of him. And it's the trauma that comes from that. And in the Joseph story, there's a lot there. We're not going to unpack them all. But as Joseph chose not to become bitter and self-obsessed, he kind of moves forward. And then later on in life, he has 2 sons, and he named them Ephraim and Manasseh. I'm not saying that right. Forgive me. But those names mean forget and move forward. He literally named his sons forget and move forward. He shows us that healing isn't living in the wound. It's trusting God forward. And I think that's such a powerful story for us. The story of Joseph, what he went through. He had every right to be better. But instead, he moved on. And I know for me, in my attempt to fight the good fight, there's been a lot of times over the years, frankly, where there's been some betrayal, or there's been some brokenness, there's been some wounds, or things where you look back and go, I kind of got burned by that. And I know unpacking that with George over the years, one of the questions you always ask me that I hate is, what do you think God's trying to teach you here? What is this? What is this about God's character? What is this about whatever that person did? What is God trying to tell you? And I'm like, I want to be mad at this person. I don't want to talk about it. And at the same time, what a great way to kind of filter through what you're navigating.
Yeah, this whole piece there, then that's so true. What's God trying to teach you? And with Joseph, he was walking with God. Best I can tell in this whole story. Then he has the prayer of, hey, there's a 12 and 11 are going to bow down to, and the brothers are like, what? You're 11 or 12 of us. We're not bowing down to you, young one. And all of a sudden, hey, let's throw him in a pit. Let's get Dad's favorite. Let's get him out of here. Yeah. And hey, no, let's sell him. And I mean, it's just going down and down, but he just does the next right thing. I think one of the ways to alleviate scars or to move past scars somewhat quickly is trust God, trust the process. God sees the big picture. We see immediately in front of us. Joseph just kept doing the next right thing. And hey, don't forget about me when I answer this prayer. And they forget about him. And then he finally gets elevated, and then he gets cornered, by the wife, and he just does the next right thing, but still boom. And all of a sudden, then there's his brothers, all the scars that they inflicted upon him. It's time to get revenge. But he doesn't, because he doesn't have a you owe me list. He has, what are those two things that he named his sons again?
Forgive and move forward.
Wow.
I think when I was younger, my mom had a stroke and was in a coma and was in and out of hospital and rehab for a year. And I'm very young. I had just trusted Christ a couple months before that. And literally it was one of those defining things in the story of our family and life. And I hated it. I hated to see my mom in that condition. It just changed a lot of things in our family. Years later, I'm in student ministry, and I can clearly tell you where I was sitting at this coffee place with a student hanging out after school that I'd met at our weekly meeting. Who's like, well, you don't understand. My mom's real sick.
Sure.
And I got to go, yeah, I do. I have those scars. And he was like, what? And to see how God redeemed it and how God could take our message, make it into our message, if you will. And the way that God uses those things, it's unbelievable to me if we're willing to trust him with those things, how he'll use them.
Yeah. And that whole forgive and release it and move forward. And I want to be quick to say this. We're not encouraging you to stay in a dangerous situation. Let me the whole liability and all that stuff. Like I said, being a school administrator, there are only 3 rules: keep the baby safe, keep the baby safe, keep the baby safe. So if you're in a dangerous situation, hey, forgiving, yes, because that releases you. Move forward may mean move somewhere else. Right. So we don't want you to stay in a dangerous situation.
That's good.
I think you had a verse.
Yeah, no, we were just going to unpack something in Philippians. It just says, not that I've already obtained all this or have already arrived at my goal, but I press on to take hold of that for which Christ Jesus took hold of me. Brothers and sisters, I do not consider myself yet to have taken hold of it, but one thing I do, forgetting what is behind and straining towards what is ahead, I press on towards the goal to win the prize for which God has called me heavenward in Christ Jesus. And I do think there's those moments when you have those scars and you realize they're there. You've got to press on. And I think that's a challenge for some of us, because we'd rather just sit and, wonder in our hurt and just maybe not press on. And the pressing on, for me, often requires having other people be aware of what your scar is, and they go, hey, I'm with you. How can we help you move forward?
Yeah. Let me give kind of a warning from my childhood of something that I heard said all the time, and I bet you've heard it, and then maybe an encouragement, and then maybe you can give us a final word and close us out there. You remember growing up, hate the sin, love the sinner, right?
Mm-hmm.
Hate the sin, love the sinner, or bless their hearts. Hate the sin, love the sinner, or saying bless their heart at the end of whatever you just ripped somebody to shreds. You just verbally tongue lashed. You left scars all over the place. Oh my goodness. But bless their heart, man, that leaves scars. And if you're a person that does that, I'm going to encourage you to stop, because I heard it got flipped for me. It's hate my sin, love the sinner. Hate my sin, love the sinner. Man, I got enough going on in my life that I need to lay down before the Lord, that I don't need to go, I'm just hating the sin because we just talk about it. Did you hear so-and-so? Because we're just ripping scars all over the place. So it's not hate the sin, love the sinner. It's hate my sin, love the sinner. And if you're someone that's been caught in that, I want to encourage you that your past doesn't define you, but it can refine you. Your past doesn't define you, but it can refine you if you'll release and move forward.
So good. Thank you, George. I think for us, as we've been talking about the Good Fight Collective and what does that look like for us and for those in our circles, one of the things that the enemy uses that sometimes makes us feel unqualified for the good fight is our scars. And it's our wounds from being burned or being frustrated. Or
what if that happens again? What if that comes up again? What if they find out?
So what if God could use them? Wow, what if they are actually fuel for what's ahead? And we just wanted to challenge you to think about that in your life. We're not here to fix it. We're here to live in it, because that's what fighting the good fight is. It's about being honest and being realistic about the journey. But part of that is that you're going to get wounded along the way. And I think wounded soldiers serve well in the army of God.
Yeah. And if you don't have that trusted person to reach out to us.
100%.
We'll listen. I think we have some questions here.
Yep. Thanks, man. So what do you need to trust God with where you are right now? So as you think about kind of the things in your life, maybe the scars or things you've accumulated, what do you need to trust? Just give it to him and trust him with right now. Forgive and forget, really easy to say, sometimes really hard to do. Why is that? How do you press on? What does that look like in your life to press on in faith? How does that on a daily basis or a moment basis look like for you to press on? Something to wrestle with. And then lastly, who do you process your scars with as you realize along the way in life, we all get burned, we all get hurt. Who do you process that with? Who are those people in your life that you're honest with about the scars that we get?
Yeah, and whether we like it or not, we're told that we're going to have some troubles in this world, and troubles lead to scars.
Yeah.
But again, take heed. Jesus saying he's overcome the world. Amen. He doesn't want to leave us in our pity. He doesn't leave us on our hurt. Doesn't want to leave us. Again, let the scars be something that refine you and move you forward, and that you can even help yourself and then someone else, just as you shared, hey, I can relate to that. Here's my scar. But let's focus back on you, and let's help you 100%. Through your scar. So with your band of brothers, and as you fight the good fight, fight on.